Right, we are off episode 9, Fit With Us. Thank you very much for coming along. Gary, how are you today?
Doing very well, mate. Doing very well. How are you? It's good to see you as always.
Yeah, I think when we spoke for about 30 seconds before this, we'd both only just get out of bed. So
Yeah.
get some
I
caffeine.
thought, like, for people watching on YouTube, it's very evident that we're literally just awake.
Yeah, well, here physically, but not spiritually. Not yet.
Not yet, man. We'll get about halfway through the podcast before the two A's arrive.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're not wrong, mate. What was I going to say? How was your weekend?
The weekend's been good, mate. I was working Friday, so didn't get in till kind of late on Friday night. But yesterday, I had my mate's Christmas kind of night out.
Oh, yeah.
I met my dad in town, right, back at 2. So about half 2, I met him. I was home by 6.
Oh, right, excellent. Yeah,
That's so bad, innit? Like, I can't handle it anymore, mate. And see, because I'm not drinking as well, like, um, because town was so busy, it's always harder to manage when you're sober.
did you stay off the drink still?
Oh, aye.
Jesus, tough going. Fair play.
Uh, that's why I was home by 6, because I'm like, I cannot fucking deal with this.
Yeah, fair enough. I
Um,
wouldn't fancy that myself.
what about you? How was your weekend? Do you want to tell people that don't know about your event yesterday?
Oh yeah, so organised with another kind of fitness coach in town. We got our clients together to do a charity. It's like it was meant to be five-a-sides, but in Ireland, five-a-sides is never five-a-sides. It becomes seven, eights, and nines. So it was meant to be a seven-a-side, and I couldn't count the numbers and realised the night before I actually had eight because I hadn't included myself. So who says PTs can't count? Not doing myself. Um, so it's true to form. I was benched to start off with. I'm very used to that position anyway, so I was on the bench. But no, we're raising charity for an organisation called Safe, which is suicide awareness for everybody. The link is still in my bio at the moment. It'd be class if you could donate. Gary, you did donate. Thank you very much for that, mate. It means a lot. So yeah, no, we were doing that yesterday. It was a good laugh done that at 10 o'clock yesterday morning. So I was I was technically a draw at the end of it, and it went to penalties. But we were on penalties, albeit me and Keane both missed.
Oh man, the penalty was a shocker. You went for a no-looker.
Mate, I was getting wound up the entire time, saying, "Oh, you're going to go bottom right, bottom right, bottom right," and I was like, "Do you know what? I'm just going to take the pressure off myself, and I'll look round, and do you know what? Then it's spectacular, and if it doesn't, then look, I didn't look." So
Exactly, that's it. You've got an excuse, man. You've got an excuse. Mate, very good cause you're raising money for as well. So please, listeners, watchers, get yourself over to in your bio, did you say?
yeah, it's in the bio. Yeah, yeah.
Aye, get yourself over to Kyle's Instagram page, and click that link in the bio and get donating. Something else I wanted to touch on there with it being so busy in town yesterday. The weather was shit as well, right? It was miserable as fuck here. I think you had quite a shitty day yesterday as well, rainy and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
So the rain doesn't bother me, right? Do you know what? It was quite dangerous walking through the city centre. Not because of the rain, not because of how busy it was, because they're short arses with their brollies up. And and they walk with their head down. Like, honest to God, I nearly got my eye taken out 3 or 4 times.
For anybody listening, a brolly is an umbrella.
An umbrella, aye. But holy shit, man, it was like just lift it slightly so we can get under. It got to the point where I was having to duck down to their level to get under the brolly so I wasn't getting my eye taken it.
It's good for your quads, though, mate.
That'll be why I'm feeling it today. Um, is there anything else you want to talk about over the course of the weekend? There's a
I,
couple of
well, I suppose it's confession time.
yes.
Kyle is back on the booze. Kyle has made a comeback. So um, I was 70, I think it was 78 days I went without it. And then my sister was over and we're out for dinner. First night, nothing to be fair, I was still sticking to non-alcoholic stuff. And then the next day, we're out for dinner again. Jim was like, "Oh, do you want to go to a pub?" And I think it was Man United playing or something. I can't remember. There's somebody on the TV. I don't really watch a lot of English football. That's neither here nor there. Sitting watching it, and I was like, "You know what? I really fancy a pint. I've got my Christmas party next week. I might actually just have one or two, so I'm not going into the Christmas party." I had to, mate, and I was blitzed. Genuinely, Jen was absolutely ripping me. I said to her at one point, I was like, I've only had 2 beers and I'm actually feeling a wee bit like stocious. And
Uh-huh.
there's not a chance that you're going to go out next week. And like she's like, you need to sort it out. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, you need to build up your tolerance. So
Mhm.
essentially I got permission. So I what was that, Thursday? And then I drank Friday and then I had a few yesterday. So I'm back, mate. But I'm now
Yes.
yeah, no, that's me until the Christmas night out. Well, of course, because otherwise it'd just be all December again. I'm not want to pull another one of those.
And one of those advent calendar months. But you
Yeah,
need to get the sets and reps in, man. You need to have a whiskey at night just to build up that tolerance. Go for the heavy stuff.
don't know, mate. I always at Christmas time get a wee Japanese whiskey. Like I do like a wee Japanese whiskey, but um, it's been able to keep that at one because it tastes nice.
Ah, nice. Okay. I like how wee Baileys at Christmas, but I won't be dipping my finger in this year.
No, no, and yeah, I was going to say Rocky gets a wee Baileys at Christmas time. He loves his Baileys. Rocky's the dog for him to listen. But I was saying that to Jen. It's a bad day when Rocky's going to outdrink her this Christmas.
Oh, aye, that's right, man.
Yeah.
That's shocking that you're getting on it and she's having to stay sober and you're not staying sober with her.
To be fair, mate, I did for the last 2 and a bit months, and I will after Christmas. The agreement was always come Christmas time, I was going to go back on it for a few weeks, and then I'm back off it January till foreseeable, maybe ever. Don't know.
Aye, fair enough, fair enough. Guess what I started last night when I came back for the Christmas day out with the lads.
Is it Linda Coke, mate?
No, no, I've not done it in so long, right? And I get back home and I just wanted to spend a wee bit of time on my own. So I opened up the old gaming laptop,
Right.
started playing Batman Arkham Asylum.
Oh man, it's funny you say that. I'm playing Arkham City at the moment on the Switch. Yeah,
Did you get it? I know you said you were toiling with the idea of buying it.
I gave in. I have had a wee bit of time to play it. Enjoyed it. Yeah, what a game
Yeah.
though. Both of them.
Oh, fucking absolutely. See for how old is Arkham Asylum now? It was way ahead of its time, man.
I think it was 2008. So what's that? 15 years.
Way ahead of its time. See the fighting in it, and oh, absolutely phenomenal. But it was the Arkham bundle that I bought, so I've got City and Night
Yeah.
waiting to play. I played City, I've never played Night.
You never played Night, so Night always gets a hard time because it's very Batmobile dominant and it takes a wee bit of darker twist. But I actually enjoyed Night. I'd actually controversially say Asylum's my favourite, Night's second, and then City's
Right?
the last. But they're all very good games.
Oh, it's absolutely phenomenal. And one other thing that I just like first, actually, is that Star Wars Christmas jumper?
As mates, yes, it is. I don't actually think it has anything specific on it. I've got a few whatever, but yeah, it is, mate.
Phenomenal. No, one other thing that I want to that it bugged me this morning. I was listening to no this morning, sorry, yesterday morning I was listening to a podcast and when the fuck did we start saying X instead of times? It pisses me off. 10x your business and done this 10x and 10x. Fuck, just say times.
Yeah, yeah, to be fair, mate, those transitions, though, you had it in football where, like, I remember the first time the word pen was mentioned. I was like, oh, that's a pen. I'm like, fuck is this penalty? Now it's yeah, right, mate, 10 extra business. And then, well, Twitter's now called X, isn't it?
Aye, that's because Elon Musk has some fascination with X.
I've never used Twitter. I do have a Twitter that's lying dormant, but I probably have used people the same amount of times as
Aye,
so,
aye.
but no, I've never seen the fascination. See when people send me things, see that on TikTok. See when people send me a TikTok, I just want to block them because you go into TikTok and it's just this big fucking wall of sensory overload. And a lot of the time it doesn't take you the video they're trying to show you in the first place. You just fucking people dancing and eating things and all sorts. It's weird.
TikTok's a weird place, isn't it?
Stay away from TikTok, kids.
Oh, 100%. Stay the fuck away from TikTok. Stay away from Instagram, except for mine, the cows as well.
100%. You heard it here first.
It's just, I don't know, it's such a bizarre thing to listen to. Like, I was listening to How to Become a Personal Trainer podcast with what's his face? Mike Vacanti and Jordan Syatt. And it was Mike Vacanti that was saying, like, this treadmill cost 30x more than that treadmill. And I'm like, just fucking say times. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Eh?
it's an expensive treadmill.
Oh, it's a very expensive treadmill, but it costs 30 times more, no fucking 30x more, you dick.
So what's that? How to become a PT, and that's what it's called. The podcast. Sorry,
How to become a personal trainer, aye.
I just read men's health.
Fair, fair one. But I think that's all my gripes
For now,
for now, mate. I will see. We'll see how I feel halfway through the podcast. Something else will probably pop up. I'm in a grumpy mood this morning.
class, mate. I'm here for that.
I'm genuinely no, mate. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Good. Glad to hear it. I was going to say I'll give you a wee virtual hug if you need one.
A wee emoji hug that would do, man.
Right, cool. Well, I suppose we better actually jump into something that's topical, isn't it?
I know. I know. All the listeners have already dropped off, man. It's just the loyalists now.
The only people listening to this is my ma and like your sister.
Aye. Right, let's do this. Let's do this, mate. What are we talking about?
Right, so we're going to talk about movement in December. I think the reason it's important is because like a lot of people come December, no matter what your goal is. We spoke on this last week. Like fat loss through December, especially right now, we're what 10 days away from Christmas, is it something like that? Just over that 2 weeks.
Don't remind me.
So like we're close enough to Christmas that a lot of people are starting, well, subconsciously or consciously, trying to like they're getting into the boxes of roses have started to appear in my house at the moment, mate. I even found myself a few pints in me the other night. Was it the heroes, mate? The heroes, the lid got taken off the heroes, mate. And I was five deep. Terrible.
Oh,
Um, so yeah, obviously there's a lot more coming into place, but I think what's often underlooked is the amount of like, yes, the spend is going to be high in terms of calories, but what we don't often look at is like we can also help boost how much we can actually afford to spend by upping movement throughout December. And it doesn't need to be going to the gym 5 days a week, and it doesn't need to be 20,000 steps, and it doesn't need to be running marathons. It's just a case of how do we put in some smart things that you can do throughout December that's not going to feel like it's taken away from your experience, but also allowing you to enjoy yourself a wee bit more. Would that be
oh,
fair?
100%, mate. And I'm on the same boat as you. Christmas night out last week, the Lucy, the other coach in the gym, she made up all these wee goodie bags of sweets, like refreshers, the little swizzle lolly
Yeah.
things, sugar on a stick, basically, drumstick lolly. So she made tons of those wee goodie bags up. And obviously not all of them got taken or eaten. So she brought them into the gym and they're just sitting in a tub. And 3 times this week, I went over my calories just from unconsciously dipping my fingers into this tub.
Yeah.
Now, for anybody that doesn't know, Kyle is my coach, so this is me fessing up. And if you're listening and not watching, he's not too happy about it right now. But yeah, just that way, like you dip your finger in, you have one, you forget about it, and then it's not until you sit down and actually calculate it all up, and you're like, holy fuck, one day I ate 900 calories worth.
So easy to do though. Like, see, when I was doing like the hybrid version of like PT and online, like
Mm.
I had a client. I'll not name her, but she said to me, so she came into the gym for a session, and I was like, oh, how's things going this week? She's like, oh, I had a few wee celebrations last night, and I was like, oh, how many did you have? Oh, I only had, I think it was like seven. And like when you totaled that up, I can't remember the number, but it was definitely over 500 calories. And I can't remember the
Aye.
exact numbers, but I remember just being such a small amount actually equating to quite a bit. And I done it there and then. I was like, that equates to like 600 calories or something. She's genuinely shocked, but that's not to take away from the fact that like enjoy it, but it's more of a case of right if you're going to be spending that amount, probably daily at the moment, and it's not just that.
Uh-huh.
There's other factors in play. That's where we're looking at how do we actually boost your bank balance so that you
Yeah.
spend a wee bit more.
Aye, well, that's one of the things that I've done this week as well to counter it. I've kept my output mega high. Trained 3 times already. Steps are over 15K pretty much every single day, which obviously helps because I'm working in a gym, so I'm always active. But for people that are listening that work office jobs, that don't work in a gym, that do kind of sedentary jobs, This is going to be absolutely key for you guys going forward. Like, if you are dipping into the celebrations, if you are dipping into the heroes, then you do have to counter that by keeping your output as high as possible. And not only is it going to increase your kind of bank balance as such, as Kyle said, it's also going to keep your energy levels high. It's also going to keep your physical health high. You're going to be able to maintain weight a lot easier because let's be honest, if you're if you're looking to be in a dieting phase over Christmas, you need to get your head checked.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
should be at least in a maintenance. I'm lucky. I'm on a I'm in a surplus, so I can afford to do these wee kind of dips into the sweetest tin, but obviously not every single day. But yeah, there's so many reasons why you should be looking to keep your output mega high, and there's going to be so many benefits to it as well.
So just on the back of that, I think that, yeah, 100%, there should be a decision made as to what you're actually planning on doing right now. Because if you try and do everything at once, you do nothing at the end of the
Hmm.
day. So I think when it comes to like fat loss, it absolutely can still be done. But with that said, Christmas is different things to different people. When you get to the week of Christmas itself, like the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, like with that, you're probably not going to have to count your calories and how many
Hmm.
minutes that you're having and stuff. So I think if we can look at, even if you're in a fat loss phase, be accepting the fact that there is going to be a week coming up in December between the 24th and the 31st, no matter how hard that you want to try and how disciplined you are, there is most likely going to have to take a little bit of hit. But instead of fighting against that, maybe just lean into it and actually learn what maintenance calories are, because I suppose we've never actually talked about what that is to anybody listening, but like when you're in a fat loss phase, typically your calories will probably be somewhere between 300 and 500 less than what it takes for you to maintain a weight, which technically means you could add another 3 to 500 calories to your current calories on a deficit and actually still maintain weight. Physically impossible to gain fat. Scales will fluctuate. There will be up, down, round the corners, but in terms of actually putting on solid body fat, it's not going to happen. So I think actually looking at the fact that if you've got an extra 500, if you had an extra 500 quid a day to play with, then what you're spending would be a lot more free flowing. But you've got 500 calories a day. Again, that could be your celebrations, that could be whatever that is. So possibly looking at, first of all, nailing that number down. And also that number will also be dictated by how much you move, which we'll go on to.
Aye, 100%. And like you said as well, like people that are wanting to be in a kind of fat loss phase over that week as well. See your calorie deficit as a weekly thing rather than a daily thing. So let's say you are, I'm going to use 500 because it's mega easy. I've not spoke about this yet, have I? I can't remember if I spoke about it to you guys or my online group.
Oh,
But
you're cheating us.
but see, so let's say you're in a 500 calorie a day deficit. That gives you 3,500 calories over the course of the week. Seven times five, seven times five, yeah, 35. So if you happen to eat, let's say 1,000 calories over your maintenance on one day, you're still in a deficit of 2,500 calories over the course of the week. So you're still in a calorie deficit just because you've been over that one day. It's not going to have a negative impact on your fat loss phase, on your fat loss journey. So yeah, spread your deficit, see it as a weekly thing rather than a daily thing, because when you see it as a daily thing, that's when the fuck it button gets hit so much more. You're like, I'm already out my deficit, so fuck it, let's go absolutely mental. Bang. What's the point? I'm on Wednesday, so I may as well just start my weekend early. But like I say, if you see it as a weekly thing, you're like, whoa, I'm only over by 1,000. That's fine. I'm still in 2,500 calorie deficit for the week. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. And I think if we extract that even further, and there's a reason that I keep on equating calories to money, because people have a far better idea of
Yeah.
money and can relate to it a lot more than calories some points. And again, it sometimes makes a bit more sense. But if we extrapolate that and look at it, most people get paid monthly. But at the start of each month, or there's a certain day each month where a lot more bills than any tend to come out. So you'll find that, like, I don't know, your phone bill, your house, your mortgage, whatever that may be, your rent all comes out in the same week. and that takes percentage-wise of your wages the biggest percent out. But just because it's taking the biggest percent out, you don't do what you do with your calories, and all of a sudden you just spunk the rest of it and go, like, I'm skint for the rest of the week. I'm not buying anything. Like, you just go, right, sound. That's a week that most of the stuff comes out. You know what you've got left to ration for the next 3 weeks, and most people, well, I say most people, there's a lot of people who are able to kind of do that pretty well. So that's what I would look
Aye.
at with, whether it be a weekly basis or whatever way you want to do it. I wouldn't look at being so fixed on the fact that there is a day where you've absolutely went over your calories, you've eaten out,
Mhm.
you don't know how to manage it, and all of a sudden you went, right, fuck it, I'm just gonna eat and eat and eat and eat and eat until Monday, because Monday I'll be fresh again.
Yeah, aye. Never start on a Monday. It's a pain in the arse starting on a Monday. I wait till Monday because then you go absolutely tonto over the weekend. But another thing as well, if you've been in a dieting phase for quite an extended period of time, you should probably be looking to have a wee diet break anyway, and just use that Christmas, that 24th to the 31st, as your diet break. Let all your insides kind of catch back up. Give yourself a wee bit more food to look forward to. Lean into it a wee bit, enjoy it, rather than worrying and stressing about what you can and can't have, what you can and can't do over Christmas, because it's a big period. It's a big time of year. It only happens once a year, and obviously you spend a lot of that with your friends and your family, social events and whatnot, and Christmas Day as well. Like how? Right, here's a question for you, Kyle. Your typical Christmas dinner, how many calories would you say you put away when you sit down for your meal?
The first plate or the fourth one?
In total, everything.
I don't. That's it. Like, I'd say that we're probably talking, like, genuinely probably about 4,000 calories. I'd say easily.
Aye.
If you've seen the way that Jen and her family make roast potatoes, mate,
Oil, oil, oil.
mate, there's an entire packet of butter in there as well, mate. I don't even know how they make it, but it tastes class. But like, you are taking it's like it's a health and safety risk just having those. Like, it's lovely, but um, between that and then again, it's quite a boozy day as well. As I said,
Aye.
I'll get some Japanese whiskey, a few cans, and probably do about 200 steps the entire day. That's only because I've got a weak bladder and need to move. So
Aye, so that's it. Like you don't want to be getting into that and being like, oh, can I have this? Can't I have this? And then feel guilty for having it. Just fucking enjoy it.
yeah, I'd be the same. I've never worked with anybody, and I have worked with people who have gone through fat loss phases through December. I've been through one myself last year, but even then, when it comes to like Christmas Day, I've never met anybody who's, God, even the most meticulous of people
Yeah.
don't really log that. And look, if it's your jam and that's what you want to do, then go for it. But just don't be surprised that your calories are a wee bit higher that day.
Aye, they're going to be, and you're probably going to have a massive weight spike as well, on the scales, but absolutely nothing to worry about. See, as long as you get right back on plan, that weight will correct itself within a few days. Because think about it, you're eating all this food, you're eating what, 4,000 calories worth of food. It doesn't just go into your system and then evaporate. Like you're carrying that around with you until you get rid of it, pretty much.
Well, there's two things I'd say on that as well. So typically your weight will fluctuate a lot as well, because for a lot of people, there is booze involved on Christmas Day as well.
Yep.
You're drinking booze, particularly probably more than what a lot of people normally drink. You tend to find that your body will prioritize getting rid of the booze more so than food. So your digestive like processes are slowed all the way down. So if you imagine two things, you've got far more food in the system in transit, and your body's working far slower. So a great example of this, very graphic, but a great example of this is, say if you're on a night out and you've been drinking like till 2 or 3 in the morning, and then you get like a kebab or a Chinese or whatever, and then the next day, if you're sick, it's regurgitated almost in its purest form, like this whole chip's coming back out again. It's because your body's actually not digested it. It's literally just sat there because your body's too busy digesting alcohol. And
Aye.
if you imagine that's going to take a lot longer, it's going to on the scales, it's just going to reflect the fact that you've got whatever just sitting there. So if the scales melt your head, in the sense that you're very reactive towards like spikes, be of the understanding that the spike's probably going to be anywhere between, could be 2 and 8% of your body weight.
Mhm.
like I would probably say just take a wee bit of time off the scales. Like it doesn't give you the green light to go absolutely tonto, but like if you are thinking about weighing yourself, probably Boxing Day or St Stephen's Day isn't the best day to do it on.
Oh, 100% not. 100% not. Yeah, definitely avoid the scales if you feel like it's going to impact you negatively, especially kind of your mindset and stuff. So avoid the scales. But if you do hop on the scales, just expect that spike to happen.
Yes, 100%.
There was something else that I was gonna. Oh, because you mentioned Chinese. That's what we're having for Christmas dinner.
Chinese?
Chinese. No one's cooking this year. We just cannot be arsed with the hassle of it all. And so we're getting a Chinese in on Christmas Day, and then we're going out for Christmas dinner on Boxing Day, so no one has to cook. So I'm pretty much double done
Mate, I'm here for it.
it.
That's the way forward. We used to just have like a steak on Christmas Day because none of us actually really liked like traditional Christmas dinner, so it'd be like steak and then maybe prawns for a starter. But
Oh, aye, aye.
you know what? Like nothing in Ireland is open on Christmas Day. Like nothing at all. I actually quite like the concept of like because it's only just me really and Jen here. We don't really do a great deal. I love the concept of being able to go out somewhere for Christmas Day dinner. Whereas,
Mhm.
like, well, in the UK, there's a lot of places open to do Christmas dinners and stuff. You know.
Tons, like there's so many places in Glasgow open.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that and just not having to worry about the hassle of tidying up and stuff. That's gonna be absolutely glorious.
Is that something you normally worry about anyway, mate?
No, because I'm usually steaming, to be honest. I worry about it in the build up to it, and then I just get absolutely bladdered on Christmas Day. I usually struggle with my dinner, to be honest.
You know what? I remember last year I played Call of Duty, and that's almost every year I download Call of Duty for a wee bit and just realise how bad I am at it again. But I remember last year I started to get better. There was like a sweet spot where I started to get better the more drunk I was. It wasn't just feeling I was better, the data was saying that I was better. My kill death just started going like this, like straight up. And then thinking back about it the next month, I started playing again, I was shite, and I was like, how is it that I get better? I used to have a boy that I'm going on a rant now, but I used to have a boy that we went to school with. Um, let's just say his name was Sean. But it was we were always like he plays far better when he's got a pint in him. So like it's funny, you know, you grew up in a school in Glasgow when you're saying that a boy who was at school played better with a pint in him. But um, yeah, anytime that he turned up to five sides, it was always like, oh, is let's say Sean, has he had a drink in him? And then when the boys were like, yes, I was like, yes, I want him in my team because like people messy with a drink in him, but see without it, shite.
That's fucking bizarre as fuck, isn't it? What does it do? What does it do to your brain just to make us better?
I don't know, mate. I was actually thinking, how bad must the little French children that I'm destroying at Call of Duty be if I'm better than them with like 10 cans in me?
10 cans, it makes you 10x better.
It's better. Maybe it's just because I'm just holding in the trigger the entire time.
um, Sidetracked again. Fucking hell, my brain is so small and this is fantastic. Do you want to talk about other reasons why keeping your movement high over the festive period is important?
Not really, mate. I was enjoying talking about Call of Duty, but I think,
We can keep talking about games if you want.
yeah, no, we'll go for that. So
We'll call it the Game With Us podcast from now on.
it's a market in there. Right, sorry. The
Other reasons, do you want me to dive in?
yes, mate. You go. You go.
Yeah, so we all know what it's like over obviously festive period. It can be stressful due to a number of reasons. You've got gift shopping, you've got event planning, family gatherings, you've got work deadlines. So staying active and moving as much as possible as well is going to help with stress reduction. Pretty much what it says in the tin. Obviously, it can and no doubt will improve your physical and mental well-being. So holy shit, man, my fucking brain. So just being active, staying moving is going to do more than just increasing your bank balance for your calories. It's going to stop fucking smiling at me. My head's it's going to do more than just maintain your weight as well. It's going to help your stress, is what I was trying to say.
Sure, that's fine, mate. I was going to say is Rachel and get 20p in the meter there to power.
I know, mate. She has to, man. She has to.
To be fair, I'm pretty much on the same boat as you anyway. So let's go back to college.
I think we're on shutdown mode anyway. It's nearly Christmas.
No, I 100% agree. I think like as much as I read mental health for my advice, I think when you look at the science, like science would say for you doing 1,000 steps, somewhere between 30 and 70 calories that the average person's burns. The heavier you are, the more calories you burn. Which actually, if you are feeling that you're gaining a wee bit of weight, if anything, the more steps you do, the more important they are because the activity multiplier is higher. So um, I would say, look, you do take the arbitrary number of 10,000 steps, do 10,000 steps in a day, you're burning somewhere between 300 and 700 calories per day. Stack that up over the course of the week. Like, if you imagine it's just 500 straight down the middle, you're burning what is again 3,500 calories. Like, if you're still getting paid 3,500 calories worth of burning, and that means you can burn an extra 3,500 calories, then again, job's a good one. It gives you far more than 3,500 calories. It gives you far more leeway for burning the things like your chocolates, your takeaways, your social occasions. The worst thing you could do is do nothing because then you have no income coming in and a very high spend each day, which if you'd done that again, taking it to finances, if for every single day you spent a lot of money and you weren't working, you were jobless at the end of December and January when you're fucking stone broke and there's people knocking on your door, then it's understandable as to why that's happened. So I don't understand why people think it might be any different when it comes to health, fitness, and
Yeah.
nutrition. It's just breaking that down. If you still have an income coming in through, again, moving about, then it means that your spend can be higher. I can't stress enough, and we can't stress enough that it's important to get that in.
Oh, 100%. Thank you for taking the reins there. That was phenomenal.
Oh, that's
And it
just
was,
caffeine.
I, eh?
Caffeine's eventually kicked in.
Oh, mine's hasn't. I am definitely not caffeinated right now. Um, another reason like keeping your movement high is important as well is just your overall energy levels. You know what it's like. Dark mornings are in, the dark nights are in, energy is low, motivation is low. Again, busy schedules, Christmas parties. So it's common at this time of year for energy levels to just take a fucking nosedive. So regular movement, even if it is just a wee 10 to 50 minute walk, um, it's going to boost your energy levels massively. Like it doesn't have to be, I give yourself a daily step target. See, even if you can't do a daily one, if you're finding you've got days, especially if you work an office job where you're only hitting 3 to 4K steps, do a weekly step target rather than a daily, do a weekly. Um, but once you have set yourself a target, you need to be dedicated enough to actually hit it. Don't wait to be motivated. Don't wait for it to be good weather because it's never going to be good weather, especially if you live in Glasgow. Um, Aim to get your steps in by doing just wee 10, 15 minute walks sporadically throughout the day. A good way to do it, I stole this idea off Kevin, who's one of our friends. Get yourself up and do a 30-minute walk before you start working.
Yep.
That's going to get you energized for your day at work. That's going to improve your mood. Before you start your day at work, it's going to relieve some stress if you're thinking about, oh my God, I've got these deadlines. Get out, go for a 30-minute walk, then start your work. Doesn't matter what the weather's like. There's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing. Wrap yourself up if you have to. Get a pair of wellies on if you have to. Just get yourself out in the fresh air, and your mood, your stress, your energy, everything is going to improve tenfold.
Agreed. I think I've said this to Jen. She constantly laughs at me for moaning about it, but I'm like, this must be the worst year for weather I can remember. It's pretty much pissed down all year round. You've had warm rain, cold rain, freezing rain, horizontal rain, and vertical rain. That's uh,
It's raining sideways.
that's the rundown of it. But yeah, the same thing goes. Like if you were waiting for it to be perfect, then it's never going to happen. Like I always, there's a certain family member of mine that I always used to slag because they only ever went to the gym and done walks when it was sunny for the month of June. Like it's a very seasonal thing that is, and as you just, it's not that you need to do anything because I think you saying you need, you're inherently going to have resistance to it. But what is going to massively benefit you is getting up, having a bit of time before work by yourself. it's one of the things, particularly this year, that I've implemented to try and put it on my stories as much as I can as well. It's just the fact that like getting up, if you're used to just getting up, rolling out of bed, and going straight to work, you've essentially spent the first 9 hours of your consciousness of that day dealing with somebody else's shit.
Yeah.
You're dealing with stresses coming in, you're dealing with things, and you're 9 hours in before you've done anything for yourself. Hence the reason you're feeling burnt out, tired, and as much as half an hour, you probably feel that you've not got that to give, and the lie-in seems a bit better. Once you get in the routine of doing that for a period of a week, the difference that that will make in your life will be massive.
Aye. Our brains only have a certain amount of energy to think every
Like,
single day. It's like a
less so today, yeah.
less so today. Aye. It's think of it like a battery. And if you get up and you spend 90% of that battery just straight away, like you said, going rolling out of bed straight into work, by the time you're finished work, your brain is like, fuck this, I don't want to do anything. It signals to your body, I don't want to do anything. But if you can get yourself up a wee bit earlier, get that walk in, it's going to kickstart your day. Obviously, when you're doing your walk, you listen to our podcast, so that's going to kickstart your day as well. But what a difference it would make just trying it for a week. See, even if you struggle for a half an hour walk, 15 minutes, it doesn't have to be half an hour. It's just what you can commit to, and be disciplined enough to stick to it. On the flip side of that though, after you've had your day at work, I would also recommend avoiding the couch as much as possible. I know that's easier said than done. You've had a hard day at work, because you've rolled out of bed and went straight to work, so your brain is signaling to your body that you don't want to fucking do it. But getting home and avoiding sitting down on the couch as much as possible is going to go far as well. Get in, it's hard because see if you drive to work and drive back, that doesn't really count as being out and getting fresh air. So get yourself in, dump the bags, stick on wellies if you have to, and get yourself out for 15 minutes just to get a bit of fresh air in, relax your mind, de-stress, and then you can go back in and decide what you want to do, what you want to do. You're going to feel a lot better than if you had just started in from work and plonked your ass on the couch.
Stoated. What a word.
Started, oh, fantastic word, isn't
Stoated translates to stumbled in. Doesn't
it?
um, yeah, no, daylight exposure this time of year as well. I think it's what you've got about 4 hours of daylight a day, something like that.
Aye.
Feels like that anyway. So I think up until the 21st of December, 21st of December, if I remember right, is the shortest day of the year. But pretty much in a nutshell, we have less daylight this time of year than any other time of year. Um, Getting a bit of daylight exposure will help regulate your energy, your mood, your melatonin levels to your sleep. So again, not only like if you remove the sorry, just dying here. If you remove the emotion from it, for a lot of people who actually look at this logically, let's just say you were to paint a picture of a human being who gets up and goes to work for somebody else for 8 hours a day and does so in darkness, comes home in darkness, and sits and watches a screen both in work and then at home. Like it's a very depressive picture, that isn't it? But when we are in that, like we tend to not realise that because there's always an excuse about how we're tired and they're this and they're that, and ultimately there are ways around that. Like there's only certain things that can control. I'm not here to tell you to go and bin off your job and go and find something out in the wilderness. But what I am saying is, or what we are saying is, you do have a lunchtime. A lot of people
Yeah.
on your lunchtime, you're probably feeling shattered. But the worst thing you can do is sit in the same chair that you're working in the entire time and eating your lunch at your desk, only to 45 minutes later or 40 minutes or half an hour later, then go back to doing the same thing.
100%. We've been dealt a shit hand and we need to play with the cards we've been dealt pretty much. And
Well,
getting yourself out,
when life gives you melons,
make melonade.
there you
Um, but I completely agree with that as well. Lunch breaks, get yourself out. I know if it's rainy and stuff, you might not want to go out and come back into work soaking. Just take a big fucking jacket.
I, I'll be completely honest on this one. Like I don't want to say little sympathy because that's unfair to say, but I am like, you're not going to die. Like I used to,
Mhm.
I had to cycle every day, and it was like a 20 kilometer cycle, there and back every single day, 5 days a week when I was a PT. I've literally cycled through snow, rain, sleet, whatever you name it, the vertical rain, horizontal rain. I've done it all, right? what I used to do sometimes when I see it was absolutely pissing down, I'm like, well, I'm just having to accept that I'm going to get absolutely soaked. But I'd have a change of clothes in my bag at all times, like so that
Hmm.
it's like as soon as I get there, I can change. Nothing better than a fresh pair of socks. See if it's pissing down, if you get that fresh pair of socks, you're in for some day. But yeah, used to have that with me the entire time, and it's just one of those things. It's like sometimes you just need to get shit done. Like where I'm, I'm I don't know where to chase this one because I want to chase it, but I feel like this could be a rabbit hole. But I'm like, pull me back from this rabbit hole, Gary, if I go too far down.
Let's go. I'm down that rabbit hole with you. Let's go.
Okay. We're at a point where our comfort, like there's nothing nowadays that can kill us. Like outside of like obesity, and we're so comfortable, the only thing that can kill us is having an abundance of fucking food and doing nothing. Like it's the fucking
Aye.
thing we've ever been there. So there's not the incentive to have to go and like I don't want to sound like one of these guys again going out in the wilderness in your sandy box and try to hunt animals like frowned upon these days. But the incentive and want to have to go and do things isn't very high. If anything, it's like how do we build even more comfort into our lives?
Hmm.
It's one of those ones that going that's a problem in itself, and I think we're only going to see that problem and come to a head in the next kind of 20 to 30 years. But I think looking at that and going, you know what, being super comfortable is an issue. Like it's like we do need that level of uncomfortable things, and without sounding like an Instagram quote here, like doing hard things will give you an easy life, but if you're constantly doing easy things, then you are going to have a hard life.
Aye, 100%. I think in this day and age, the society we live in, I mentioned it a couple of podcasts ago, sorry, like having an unlimited amount of food at your fingertips has pushed like obesity levels are just fucking going through the roof. So some people's comfortable is actually really fucking dangerous.
Yeah,
And what's then happening is they're having children and they're showing their children how to be comfortable, which is then dangerous for the children because kids are obese. And it's just because that's what they're used to. And then they just find themselves in this horrible cycle where they think it's normal. They wonder why they've got all these health issues. They wonder why their knees are sore when they stand up. They wonder why they need to go to the doctors multiple times a year to get health checkup, bloods taken. Oh my God, I've got a risk of diabetes. But that's because that's they're comfortable. It's what they've been used to, and they don't know how the fuck to get out of it. And then when somebody tells them, look, you need to push yourself out your comfort zone, no, I don't want to do that.
there's a there's a cost to being comfortable, like,
Hmm.
and that's the thing that not a lot of people, as or they only realize it when it's a bit too late as well. Like there's a cost to you eating too much, a cost to you doing nothing is a cost to you. And it's like if you don't pay it at the start, so usually the things that will give you a benefit at the end are things you pay at the start. So let's take not to incentivize anybody to run, not a big fan of it myself, but let's look at running, for instance. Like it's one of those things that are inherently uncomfortable all the way through it. There's nobody
Hmm.
I've ever met who enjoys the actual running. We all enjoy the effects of running, but the thing is, you've had to put in a lot of payment in the sense of you need to actually run and do the hard part first to get the benefit then. Whereas the opposite can be said for things like your food. You have a takeaway, it tastes fucking class. You have this, and like you can like last night, like Jen and I after the fives, after done a wee bit of work, had a pint or two, four. But after the four, the temptation to get another bag of cans or get like a like a deep takeaway on the way home, chicken wings and all that. They were there, but at the same time, I'm like, if I do that, then I know the cost to that isn't just that. It's great at the time, but you know what? It would have absolutely tanked the energy today. Not saying I feel the freshest, but I definitely feel fresher than it would have been if it was another four cans deep. Um,
Yeah.
and ultimately, my check into my coach isn't going to be as bad this week because I didn't smash those honey glazed chicken wings that looked ever so good from the Chinese.
Oh, stop that. Stop that.
Yeah.
Here's a very controversial question for you, right? And actually, I'm considering whether to ask it or not, but I think because I mentioned it now, I need to ask it.
You can't believe ballers on this one.
When you see a fat kid, do you class that as child abuse? I
Yeah,
mean, obese.
yeah. So there's, I would argue there's no way that someone will get to that state. Whilst I get there is a genetic factor, that's a topic for a whole new day. I think we'll touch on
Yeah.
it. I'd like your genetics do make up a lot of what you do. Like I think the ratio is like 60% of the way that we end up is genetically predisposition. But that's to be ignorant to the other 40% that you can control. Is
Mhm.
like kids didn't look like that 100 years ago. Not that I was about,
Yeah.
not that we've got Instagram 100 years ago to whatever, but I would the studies and research that we have would suggest that yes, kids didn't look like that
Yeah.
ago. So yeah, I think when you're looking at like a kid like that, there tends to be you look at the two parents, and the two parents are also like that, and the kid is like that. And again, without naming names, there was a boy who was fat in my school, and again, it was less common then. And there was, I think, out of a pool of 30 of us, there was three of them who you would consider actively carrying a bit of punch. But I remember being pretty close to this guy. Went to his house again. Bear in mind, we were like 10 years old, and kind of wasn't sure why he was fat. But then when we got to his house, like his mum got us a takeaway that was like a pizza with kebab and pakora on top of the pizza. So essentially, it's a free meal in one go. But it transpired this wasn't just that, you've got your mate round from school and this is a one off. This was a regular occurrence. And it was just because in their head, it was simplicity. It was
Yeah.
probably cheaper and less effort than having to actually make something. Like, I don't know what the justifications really there are for it, but ultimately, like, that's just what this person got all the time. And I'm like, it's funny though, because they at the age of 20 ish moved out the house and actually lost like a shitload of weight and seemed to have maintained it off. So with that, once that person actually broke free from the parents, again, don't want to cause a, I don't want to make any accusations here of the person this, but I'm like, I don't think it's any coincidence that the person left the family home, found himself in a relationship with somebody else. Their standards, their environment changed, and with that, they changed. But your environment, the people around you, and the standards that you maintain for yourself they're all contributing factors to how chunky and less funky you are.
Aye, 100%. By the way, that pizza sounds absolutely fucking amazing.
Still tasting it. Uh,
Oh, kebab meat and pakora.
See, the thing is, right, I was two slices in and was like, I can't do any more of this. It was just, I was full. Like, straight away, I was full.
Aye.
I think we're playing like fucking Pro Ev 2 or something. Back.
Nice.
Ronaldo was called whatever he was, and Zidane was called Zidane Zidane. Um, but yeah, I was playing that, eating the pizza. Yeah,
Mate, what a pizza. That's like literally like diabetes and a heart attack on a bit of bread.
the fact that the boy survived till his 20s, mate, there's probably a Netflix documentary going to be out about him soon. But yeah,
Fucking iron fucking
it's
insides.
iron insides.
That is impressive, man. But I don't know. It just obviously popped into my head there when we were talking about kind of obesity being on the rise and people's comfort zone. But I'm on the same page as you. Like I do see it as a form of child abuse, but at the same time, people sometimes, I mean, people buy fast foods, McDonald's, etc., out of necessity because they can't afford to buy healthy and nutritious foods. That's no kind of what we're talking about here. It's how much they're buying that's the issue, that's the problem. People can have my wee sister Carla, she's 14. She's gonna kick my ass for no knowing. 14, I think. She could eat at McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I'm like that, you need to stop that. Lee's the same, my wee brother. He would, honest to God, he went through a phase of like 3, 4 years. He just wanted McDonald's all the time. And I'm like, this is not good.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I'm not saying like don't buy McDonald's. I'm not saying don't feed your kids McDonald's. You absolutely can. It's just put a cap on it.
Yeah. I think just on the flip side of that, you can see that Sciat Fitness boy that you listen to quite a bit,
Mhm.
he done the ate McDonald's every day for 30 days and lost weight. Now, whilst it is entirely possible, and I think it actually blends itself back into the entire purpose of this, if your activity levels are high enough, like
Yeah.
when I was an on the floor PT and I was taking like 6 exercise classes a week, still training 4 or 5 times a week myself, playing 5 sides, doing over the course of 3 floors in that gym, doing 30,000 steps a day. Like I was easily burning 4 or 5 thousand calories a day.
Yeah.
You're burning 4 or 5 thousand calories a day. Like you can get away with a lot of food. Like theoretically, I could have had a doner kebab for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and probably still lost weight, but it's not the most intelligent or healthy way of
Yeah.
doing things. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. But again, it's not to be as black and white as that. It's like, yes, you can have McDonald's. I would probably say make sure that you're moving enough that your calories can get away with it. Do it in moderation and make sure that you at some point get a bag of fucking carrot sticks or something alongside it. But some fiber
Aye.
is good. If you've not had a shit in 4 days, there's probably a reason behind that. So let's make sure that we've got a wee bit of fibre in there as well. But it absolutely can be done, but it doesn't mean it should be.
100%. Another very good example of this is Beard Meets Food on YouTube. You ever watched them?
Heard of him. I don't know if I have watched him, from being honest.
Mate, I'm obsessed with him, man. I think he's absolutely fantastic. He's a guy for, I think he's for Yorkshire, Leeds, I think. And he does these weekly food challenges. He used to do 2 a week. And he would be eating upwards of like 6, 7, 8,000 calories in one sitting. And he is fucking shredded. Like he is built no massive like a strongman, but he is mega lean, and he's obviously very clever. He knows his way around calories. He knows how to work them, but he's living proof that you can overindulge one day, maybe sometimes 2 days, but see if you're clever enough with your bank balance of calories over the course of the week, it can be done. He trains 3 to 4 times a week, he lifts weights 3 to 4 times a week, he keeps his step count nice and high. On the days that he's not doing a food challenge, he's eating lower calorie stuff, higher volume stuff, salads, Greek yogurt, berries, stuff like that. And then on the days that he is doing the food challenges, like I say, upwards of 6, 7, 8,000 calories. So he he's proven that you can enjoy your shite food. You can go and fucking go absolutely mental with food. Some of the things that I've seen in meetings are absolutely disgusting. Like I'm looking at that going, that's making me feel sick. And he tans it all. And he's like that, no bother at all. He's like I say, he's mega lean. Um so I like if you want a visual representation of how you can eat shite and still look good, go on to Beard Meats Food on YouTube and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I actually just wanted to say on the enjoying your shite food and enjoying all that. I also think one of the things, just going back to what we talked about like kids and the environment growing up, is a lot of the time if you do or are carrying excess weight, it's because of some of the things we've learned as children. And
Mm.
I think needs to be that questioning of some of the habits and routines that you have in the first place. So, like again, for the boy who grew up for like, I mean, we're not talking like days or weeks of this. This boy grew up with years of having
Yeah.
a triple stacked pizza that I don't even know if they still fucking do. But like he's grew up with years of that. So to break that habit, it's not like an overnight fix where all of a sudden he's going to start eating like chicken and stuff fries.
Yeah.
He's probably going to take a bit of time to actually question that. And again, so it was always his ma who bought him it. Like it's always going to have this emotional connection towards what that was,
Mhm.
the comfort levels that gave. And again, probably without going too deep into this boy's thing, he didn't have a massive amount of friends, and also like was I think bullied at school as well. So I'm like,
Yeah.
the biggest comfort's going to be that. So try to break that cycle. Massive. Like you're not going to do that overnight. So a lot of the things as coaches, what we try and do is help break down those behaviours, and also it's on you a little bit to kind of question those behaviours. If you're unhappy in yourself and unhappy with some of the things you're doing, question if you're actually enjoying it. Like a lot of the time, that like,
Mhm.
I'll be the first to admit, a lot of the things that I was doing and justified was just doing out of habit, doing out of emotion. Like even when you were saying there earlier at the podcast about putting your fingers in It didn't sound right. Putting your fingers in the biscuit are in the like.
The sweetie tin.
I'll not chase that one. The sweetie tin and just doing it without actually thinking about it. It's like a lot of time it's because we've had years of doing that and years of like just the emotional connection to what that means, especially this time of year. So it's one of those ones of like you do have to question. You don't always get it right because if you've done it for years, it's always going to come back up to some form. But definitely questioning your own habits, routines, and trying to break that. And just because it doesn't need to be that you need to break from the takeaway straight away, but do you really need the triple stacked pizza? Can you
Yeah.
just get a pizza without the bacon on it? You still keep the kebab. We'll just call it kebab pizza for now. And then eventually we can have a kebab one week and a pizza the next, and all of a sudden there you are. You've started the breakaway.
Banging, banging. It's the worst thing you could do is try and change everything all at once. It's important to know that this is going to be a process and it's going to take time. It's not like you said, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a lot of consistency. It's going to take a lot of patience. It's going to take a lot of making mistakes and fucking up. I still, to this day, and I'm very open about it, still have quite a poor relationship with food. I'm still working on it. It's still a work in progress. And I know that I still have my moments where I can't control myself when it comes to it's usually fizzy sweets for me, as you know, Kyle. But see at the time, see when I'm eating them, when I start eating these fizzy sweeties, it's amazing. See about halfway through the bag, I'm just eating them for the sake of it. I've finished, I've stopped enjoying them. I'm eating them for the sake of it. And I'm eating them because I this how do I explain this one? See if I open a packet of sweets or like a share bar of chocolate. I don't stop thinking about that until it's finished. Even though I know I'm not enjoying it, I'm at that point where it doesn't even taste good anymore. I cannot stop thinking about that until I know the full bar of chocolate or the full packet of sweeties is finished. And like I say, it's still a work in progress for me. I'm still trying to kind of conquer that demon as such, but that's just because it's been so ingrained into me as being a habit that I'm finding it hard to get out of that. Does that make sense? Like, can you relate to stuff like that as well?
100%, mate. Sorry,
You're good.
again, dying. Yeah, no, I'd be more or less the same. No less so on the food side of things, but more so on the alcohol and beer side
Yeah.
of things. Would very much be the story of not really feeling fitted in at school. The first outlet I ever had, I felt part of something, was watching football with beers with my dad. But actually, my relationship with my dad got better with beer, and then naturally, alcohol helped me to a large extent take down that social barrier for when it came to nights out and stuff. And then gets to the point where it actually blunts how much of that was me and how much of that was that. You almost use it as
Aye.
a weapon and superpower, but I'd sometimes then take that to the opposite extreme where that then became more of whatever that is. So I have one of those again, still working on it. Removed it from times, have to at times get better at being able to put some rules in place to stop that. But I still find myself at times like there's just this thing, no matter how much you plan for it. I'm like when there's like again, you talk about sweets. I'm like if there's a 4 pack of beers that bought, there's not one getting left there. Like
Yeah.
who leaves a can, who leaves half a packet of sweets, whereas fundamentally that's a justification in my head, but I'm also like there are people who do, and like I just need to become one of them at some point.
I respect the fuck out of people that can open like a big bag of Doritos
Yeah,
and
yeah.
roll it up and stick it back in the cupboard. I respect the fucking hell out of you. I respect the hell out of people that can open a share bar of dairy milk, take a few bits and put the rest back in the fridge or cupboard. That's a question.
Or for chocolate,
Not a dairy milk eye.
I'd probably be covered, mate.
Oh, you fucking sadist.
Mate, if you put it in the fridge, it just becomes hard, and when it becomes hard, it hurts your teeth. Don't care what MD says.
Anyway, I respect the fucking hell out of people that can do that. Because I struggle. See, when I was working in M&S, I would always go up to like I would change the coat hangers or whatever and behind the desk, and they would always have like an open packet of Percy Pigs.
Yes.
And I'm like, how can you just have that there open and just walk past it and no take one? When I get tore into the Percy Pigs, they were in my pocket, and as soon as I finished one, my hand was back in my pocket getting another one.
I think that's it as well. I've not quite got as much of that. Like when it comes to that, Percy Pigs would be different because I do enjoy Percy Pigs. Past that, but like yeah, it's 100%. Like it's. I think it actually lends itself to another point that's be useful is see when it comes to things that you have on eye level, a desk level, everything else, hide them because it's always going to be front of mind. Like I genuinely read this in Men's Health. Like
Yeah.
genuinely, years ago read this in Men's Health. Was saying that yeah, when you've got something at eye level, like the study, in fairness, the mental health study is probably being conducted by somebody's math somewhere, but it said like you're about 80% more likely to consume it. And it's not just on the first time, it's the fact that like you've probably thought about it 4 times in your head before you actually reach for it. But
Yeah.
it's 4 very quick interactions with it where you pick up. Whereas if it's in the cupboard at the back of the cupboard or it's not an eye level, it's not constantly having to deal with that mental bandwidth of should I have one and you playing that mental jumping gymnastics as to should I have it? Oh, I'll have one. Oh, do you know what? I'll have three and that'll be my limit. And then before you
Aye.
five, and then it's like, oh well, I've done five. The entire packet's getting done.
Aye, 100%. That's the mindset I've got. Like I just can't stop. But anyway, we should probably get back to the point.
What was the point again? Was it dairy milk in the fridge?
The importance of movement.
What Call of Duty?
Aye, more Call of Duty, more Batman. More enjoying your Christmas dinner guilt free. But should we? Is there anything else you want to touch on? How long have we been going for? About an hour?
About an hour, but you know what? I think probably just actually giving some actionable points. So I think the
Aye,
best
I was going to say summarize it.
yeah, best ones are getting up early. As you said, Gary, about half an hour before work. I always do between 20 and 40 minutes in the morning, whether it be walking to the shop or whether it be getting myself a coffee, kind of monster. I try and habit stack it as well, which is, again, walking itself, like if that's not your thing, and I'm here for just sitting with your thoughts for a bit, but like it could be that you listen, you find a podcast you listen to, sort of only somebody that you knew done one. Uh, Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. In fact, that's the only thing you're getting. Fucking listen to a podcast when you're walking.
That's it. Listen to your podcast. Go for your walk in the morning. Done.
Done, done. Other ways of getting movement in that are easy, Gary. Go for it.
Going for walks at lunch. Stop sitting on the same seat that you've been working on all day. Avoid the couch as much as possible when you get home. Get yourself home from work. Get back out for a walk. Aim to train 2 to 4 times a week. See if you can only make it to the gym once. It's one time better than none. You need to be disciplined rather than wait to be motivated.
Class. Yeah,
And there's
yeah.
one more point as well. Sorry, just one more point. You use things as a reward. So use a Christmas film, for example, as a reward for ticking all your boxes that day.
Yeah.
Don't just go home from work, sit your ass on the couch, bang, Elf on the telly. Use Elf as a reward for hitting your steps, hitting your water, hitting your protein, and getting enough veggies in. Bang, done.
Controversial opinion, but Elf is shite anyway. Just
Oh, boo.
throwing it out there. But anyway, I'm not going to be the Grinch on this one. I think the Grinch, well, maybe I'm just not into like popular Christmas films, but I think Jingle All the Way with Arnie or It's a Wonderful Life for the two, man. That's the two the big hitters for me.
Of course, you had to have Arnie in there.
What's me? Why wouldn't you? Like the man's just the absolute maverick. But other things that you can add and gamifying things as well. Just actually going back to that, like so. It doesn't necessarily need to be that this. I think having a minimum standard and having that minimum standard set up before you go into each day, so knowing what your minimum is. So during like it could be your minimum is 6,000 steps a day. I'm not here to tell you if you're right or wrong. I feel that you are doing yourself a disservice for everybody, and you probably could get a bit more done, particularly if we are looking at upping the calories. But again, if 6,000 is what it is, but then just try and be progressive with it. So try and gamify it. Like wear something. I know the days that I wear my watch, like which is 362 out of 365. The other three is because I've lost it. But the days that I wear my watch, I'm far more likely to do more steps because I will get competitive with it. Like it'll
Yeah.
be like right now my minimum steps is 10,000. Like it's one of those ones. But if I get to like 9,000 and I've done like 10 and a half yesterday. I'm like, right, I could be done in a 10-minute walk, but you know what? I'm going to do a 20-minute walk just so I can beat the yesterday's target. And again, you do
Uh-huh.
get competitive with it. So that, and then the other one would be do like a fake commute. So it could be the fact that like you're if you're parking the car to go to work, or if you're getting off a bus stop, whatever, get off a bus stop earlier, you further away from work. It could be even if you work from home, like literally make it non-negotiable that you need to walk to work, and it could be that you do a loop, and that is your walk to work. It actually even just sets you up so that you're not feeling like you're literally just cabbaging in the house all day.
Yeah, that's an amazing way to do it as well. And again, that gets you that kind of 15 to 30-minute walk in before you actually start your day at work as well. Another thing that you could do is get other people involved, get family members involved, get friends involved, arrange to go for walks every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday together, meet them at 7 o'clock, go for a half an hour, 10-hour walk. You're less likely to pull out if you're if someone else is invested in it with you. If you're just doing it on your own, I can't be bothered today, so you'll sit on the couch, turn on Elf. But if somebody else is going and they've committed to it too, you're less likely to cancel.
100%. Yeah. I agree with you on all of those. I don't really have anything else to add to all that, mate. I think we've nailed it. Have you got anything?
Aye. I think we mentioned it last week in the podcast as well, but just doing fun things to keep your movement high. Go ice skating, go to the Christmas markets, go see Santa, like go through to Edinburgh for the day if you're in Scotland, go through to I don't know where you would go from Dundalk.
Belfast, Dublin, anywhere to that.
I just go through to the city for the day, like get yourself moving, get yourself walking, um, do Christmas shopping on foot. Don't do it on Amazon.
Yes, there you are. That's a statement. I like that.
Do you like it?
Instagram
How
post somewhere.
how do you think? Aye. How do you think we summarised it up there? I thought quite well.
I think we've done well. I think we could pat ourselves in the back, but it's not really our decision to make. I'm sure our
I know,
viewers will be the ones who are the harshest critics on that.
100%. But next week's going to be the last one before Christmas, I believe. Is that right? Are we doing one Christmas Eve? Or are we just going to go next week?
Uh, that's a question. We'll definitely do one next week, and we'll take it from there. We'll need to have a look at the diary. I think we probably should get a few done, and we can file them out. We'll have that discussion, just because otherwise it might be a wee while before we actually get them up and running again. So,
Aye, that's fair enough. Well, you all better tune in next week. That's all I'm saying.
what else? Yeah, tune
What
in.
else? But thank you very much for listening, Kyle. It's been a pleasure as always.
Always thanks for listening,